I would just like to introduce you to a kind of concept that we're coming back to through the course of the seminar. The 3 R's. Basically, you're here to do hypnotherapy, correct? Yes. And hypnotherapy is about helping people overcome problems, either emotional problems or behavioral problems. That's really the 2 reasons why people come in. Almost no one, other than those who've been to some kind of specialist training, will come to you and say, I've got a limiting belief or something like that. They'll say, I feel a way I don't want to feel, I'm doing something I don't want to do, or I'm not feeling something I do want to feel, or I'm not doing something that I do want to do. Those are the basic 4 options that you're going to get, right? It's very rare that you get anything else. So,
could you repeat that, please?
Sure. They're either going to complain about a behavior or a state. So by that I mean they're going to either feel something they don't want to feel, they're going to be doing something they don't want to do, or they're going to not be feeling something that they do want to feel, like excitement or enthusiasm about life, or they're not going to be doing something they do want to do, classically, dieting, going to the gym, that sort of thing, right? So they're basically 4 things that they'll come to you for. Occasionally you get someone who's more creative, but those are the things that people get stumped by and say, you know what, it's worth paying someone to help me through this, right? I can't sleep. That's a state mixed with a behavior, depending on how they frame it, yes? I feel down and I can't stand up to people who shout at me. That's a state and a behavior mixed again, right? I want to go to the gym, but I just can't motivate myself to do it, right? So these are the kind of typical things you'll come across. And I say 99% of the stuff you'll ever see as a hypnotherapist, unless you specialize in some strange branch like forensic hypnosis, for example, those will be the things, that's the bread and butter of the stuff you'll be doing. Whether it's phobias, whether it's work with children, panic attacks, confidence issues, self-esteem, abuse cases, whatever you want to specialize in, it's going to fall within that category almost all the time, right? And this is what we're doing here. This is what this is designed to deal with. Either a feeling they don't want to feel, a feeling they do want to feel, a behavior they don't want to do, or a behavior they do want to do. Those are the things we'll be focusing on here. Things that fall outside the scope of that will be things you might be able to adapt some of the patterns we'll talk about to help do with, but they're not designed primarily to do that. Does that make sense? Because I'm preparing you to be hypnotherapists, not to be stage hypnotists, not to be forensic hypnotists, etc., etc. See where we're going with this? So the beauty is, once you've got this internalized, which you pretty much have, right, we're going to adapt this basic idea, sometimes conversationally, sometimes more formally, to do all the work we do. This is the foundation of everything you'll do. Then it's just tweaking it. At this point here in the work stage, you're going to basically be doing one of 3 maneuvers. That's what the 4 conversational protocols that we'll be dealing with through the course of this week are going to be about. It's only 3 basic maneuvers. You're going to either resource someone. That's your starting point. And they work in this order. Basically, you're going to give someone the resources to be able to do what they want to do, feel what they want to feel, not do what they want to do, that sort of thing, right? Resources typically means states. So motivation, excitement, enthusiasm, love, happiness, calm. These are all states. These are resources. Make sense? If resourcing alone doesn't work, it'll typically be because a strong emotion is getting in the way. Strong enough to be close to an abreaction, as we had before. By the way, if you have an abreaction, what do?
Stay calm.
What happens next? What do you say? Oh, that was a close one. What happens next? What do you do then? Well, that was right on the edge, but I'll give you that. Are we testing? So if you get a strong emotion that gets in the way of resourcing, they just can't get past it, or when we get to the mind-bending language, they keep looping to the same point, and they can't get through that, then you go straight to a regression. And the beauty is, if the resources fail, it'll be because something comes up, which is pretty much going to force a regression anyway, right? So the very things that cause this to fail are going to cause this to kick in. Now, if you've done resourcing and you've regressed them and you've cleared all that stuff up, so now they're all nice and healed and it's all good, and the problem still doesn't go away, or at least goes away for a little while and comes back again, then basically you've got an issue with secondary gain, as we talked about before, and we'll again look at that in more detail on day 5. So as you resolve that, you reintegrate. So the beauty of this is, it happens automatically. If this fails, this gets triggered. If these two together fail, this gets triggered. And this will not fail. Oh no. Well, this can fail, but only if you put it in the wrong part of the sequence, right? This is at the end of having done these two things, so it's cleared up. It's just as a secondary gain that's maintaining the problem. If you haven't done these two properly, then you may have to go back and do one of these two with more thoroughness. Does that kind of make sense? So that's what we look for. That's the only maneuver that you have in your mind in this work section here. What am I doing? I'm going to look for resources. I'm going to try and regress them right now. Or do I need to do a reintegration? Simple as that. Right? Now, of course, we can refine those three maneuvers into more refined steps as we go along. This, coupled with the instant script type thing, is a very basic framework of how hypnotherapy works, right? But you've got the essence of it right there. So how do we do this conversationally? Because this is a conversational hypnosis, professional hypnotherapy certification program. We've got to think of something shorter than that, Cliff. So, what we did just there was useful, it was effective, it was pleasant, right? But was it really conversational? Not really. But was it that far off being conversational?